Hey Algebra, let's go over the homework. We got Unit 2, Lesson 14. Let's make our answer key. Okay, so today we're learning how to graph inequalities and also how to shade them and everything like that. So I'm going to skip this. Well, it says here's the equation of x plus 2y equals 7. It would be a line. It would be a line. And it would include all the points that are on the line. All right, and so here's the thing. This point right here, that is 1, 3. If I put in 1 and 3, I do 2 times 3, that'd be 6 plus 1, I get 7. Yay, that point is a solution. But here's the thing, this point over here, 3, 2. Put in a 3 here, put in a 2 here. That's also a solution. 3 plus 2 times 2, that's 4. 3 plus 4 is 7. That also is a solution. Now, what if I had this? It says, which of these points are solutions to this if there's a less than? Now they have to be everything less than 7. Well, 0, 0. If I put in 0 and 0 here, 0 plus 2 times 0, that'd be a 0. Is 0 less than 7? That's true. That's a solution. Okay, so this point, yep, that point's a solution. Now what we just did was we found that every other point that is also here on the same side of this line is also a solution. So let's look at 10, 0. I go 10 units over and 0 units up. Well, look at the line, If I'm 10, 0, that's going to be somewhere there. That's above this line. That is not going to be a solution. Here, let's check it. I put in 10 for x and 0 in for y. 0 times 2 is 0. And 10 plus 0 is 10. Is that less than 7? Nope, not. All right, 7. Put a 7 here and a 0 here. 0, 7. 7 plus 0 is less than 7? No. It's equal to it, but it's not. So that's technically 0, 7 is technically right on the line, but it shouldn't include, there should be a dashed line. It shouldn't include points that are actually on the line. So that one's not a solution. 0, 7. 0 and 7. That is not a solution either. Put in a 0 here and a 7 here. 2 times 7 is 14, plus nothing would be 14. 14 is not less than 7. That's wrong. That's wrong. So the only one that is a solution is that one. All right. This one now says graph all the solutions of this. Well, we already did that. We tested that 0, 0 works, and these other points out on this side don't work. So it's going to be the shading of all of these. And here's the thing: if you got a highlighter, you can highlight and be like, okay, it's all of these points here. You can color it in. It's all nice. Look at that. Going out into this direction, that direction, this direction. It's all going to be solutions. And now on the line here, it's not going to equal the line. This needs to be a dashed line. That's hard to do, but that is a detail that we kind of care about. No, not kind of. We absolutely do care about. That line would be replaced with a dashed line. All right, let's move on to this one. All right, here's this inequality. Some number x plus y is less than or equal to -2. All right, so, and it says Ada graph the equation x plus y equals 2. Great, thank you. Thank you for doing that, Ada. And she noticed that 0, 0, 0 and 0, 0 plus 0, 0 is less than or equal to -2. That's not true. That's not a solution. Good job. Good job, Ada. You got all this. How can Ada use that information to graph all the solutions? That's not a solution. But all the other points on the other side will be a solution. So she's going to shade that in. How we should do it? She'll shade it in, and since it has the equal to sign, it will be a solid line right there. All right. So she'll do two things. She'll do a solid line, and shade the other side of this point, not that point. Shade the other side. Remember, if something is a solution, we shade the side that it's on, but if it's not a solution, we shade the other side of the line. Meaning all of these other points are going to be points that will work in this. Okay. Brianna is creating a graph of this. She says that since the inequality has a greater than symbol, it should be shaded above the line. Now, here's the thing. Is she correct? Well, not necessarily. Not always. All right, what we have to test. Test some points. X, Y points. And so what we've seen is that if we can test 0, 0, that's a good one to use, because then we're just putting 0 in for x and 0 in for y. 0. So we could do that here. Test 0 and 0. Put a 0 in here. 0 times 2 is 0. -5 times 0 is 0. Add them together, subtract them together. You get 0 is greater than 10. That's false. Our coordinate 0, 0 would not be a solution. So here's the thing. We would graph this line, and we would see where 0, 0 is in relation to the line. If it was above the line, we'd shade above the line. If it's below, oh no, if it was above the line, we'd shade below because it's false. You know, so like, all right, anyway, let's go to another problem. This one, 6, 7, you're welcome. A food truck only sells hot dogs and hamburgers. They want to sell 50 items or more each day. So x plus y has got to be greater than or equal to 50. See, that's the inequality we want. Complete the graph so it represents all the solutions. So here's the thing. If I did 0, 0, 0 plus 0 is 0. Is that greater than or equal to 50? No. This is false. That is not a solution. So we would shade everything up here. Could it be equal to the line? Yes. That 50 items or more. So anything on the line or above it are going to be our solutions. Done. Okay. Complete the graph. Okay, that's all I asked you to do, folks. Take care.